Okay, let's formally get things going, and I'd like to warmly welcome you all to this open forum question time, which is organised by Swansea Waste Forum as part of the second Swansea Wise Up to Waste Week. What happens to the recycling after it is collected from my doorstep?
Taken to our whaling plant in Swansea, sorted, and it goes off to reprocessors.
There's some confusion about recycling as to what products get recycled into. You take plastic away and recycle it, does it become more plastic packaging, or does it just become sort of infill for other things? Similarly with the glass, most people assume that when they recycle the glass that it gets turned into more glass bottles.
No, we don't process any glass in Swansea for our own use.
So
but he wasn't saying processed, he was then saying that some of it maybe is crushed and used in some sort of construction.
I've seen them use it around Swansea, the council quite under, for example, paving slabs in the city centre, and I'm wondering if that glass that's being crushed, it's mixed colours, if that glass is being crushed, does it come from Swansea? And if not, why not? If we're sending our glass elsewhere for reprocessing and then we're importing crushed glass to put under paving slabs.
I don't know if it is.
Anybody else know?
I might have. There has been some examples of using the cullet within construction materials, and I think in actual fact at the Baling plant at one time some of that crushed glass was sent to the gens.
Why can't the general public just collect perfectly good items from civic community sites?
We don't take everything. We do take everything electrically and then assess it if it can be reused and repaired. So there's an online form to donate an item. It can be collected. If it's small, we ask you to bring it. Otherwise, you wait a while before you collect it. But more and more people do bring those items to us. But we do ask at the moment that they phone in advance. Otherwise, we'd be inundated. But electrics, we've got a permit for dealing with electrics and transferring reuse, so we're all official for that. Furniture, if you kept bringing it, obviously it would be a problem, so we need to control that because we haven't got eons and eons of space or a full waste permit to deal with all the elements that are involved in that. Ian's quite right, there's health and safety to be involved and hazardous stuff, particularly with electrics.
Would the City and County of Swansea consider banning balloons and Chinese lantern releases on council land and events?
Being an environmentalist, I'm a firm believer in, banning is a very strong word, but certainly doing something with regards to these goods, particularly on the balloon side. I mean, the challenge for us is that because the balloons know no boundaries and they know no environments, and there is evidence out there to suggest that they can be quite hazardous to wildlife.
Just look at the day or two after Guy Fawkes night. You've got a lot of a lot of balsa wood, sticks from the rockets. So it is something that is currently going on and has done in Britain for a long time. And I think it's a case of that we need to get to the stage whereby can we have the minimal impact but still celebrate these events? So can they look at having things that are more biodegradable or sort of would have less of an effect on the environment, and start to approach it from that perspective rather than starting to ban activities as a whole. Can they try to lessen the impact of those activities taking place?
Be renovating existing drinking fountains and creating new ones in public places in order to reduce the amount of disposable bottles.
In general, businesses and individuals need to look at are we using resources sustainably? And the problem with these water bottles is that they tend to be single use and then they get thrown.
What does Swansea Council or WAG have to say regarding the increasing level of general waste left on buses by the public?
If it's general waste, chip wrappers or something like that, I suppose provision of litter bins is the solution.
Wine Street, St Mary Street.
Like pubs and things like this that we're talking about.
I mean, it's just really interesting today. A lot of the issues in the room today have all been around household waste, but a significant quantity of rubbish is being generated by commercial trade.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to sort of discuss it. Nothing here today is generated around commercial waste.
Now's your chance.
These bins, particularly in Wine Street, are being regularly used, obviously, by businesses to tip glass waste in, cardboard, anything and everything. They're not locked. They don't all local authority at their private bins as well. But if we also adopt a glass ban on key event dates to minimise public safety in case people are glassed or bottled. But again, if I was intended to cause an injury, quite easily go into any one of these bins in Wine Street, open the lid up and have to scatter an incident weapon. The entire strand backing off Wine Street has 27 wheelie bins floating around the street. They're not secure, they're not any secure compound, and I think it's high time, obviously, tracking visitors into the city centre, we start looking at it.
That doesn't quite match, Ian.
No, what is
Your
it?
answer.
What is it off the main streets in the city centre?
We gotta learn to reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Come on. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Well, if you're going to the market to buy some juice, you gotta bring your own bags and you learn to reduce your waste.